I was going to say something else.
I want you to say something else. Do it.
I know. I don't know. Remember what it was.
Well, it's going to be a long episode, honey. We got to think of some things to say. These microphones are recording our every thought, and these cameras recording our every movement. Hey. Hey.
It's the Luskos.
It's the Luskos. Hi, Jennie.
Hi, Levi.
And hi, you. And thank you for joining us for another rousing episode of Hey, It's the Luskos. There's no end of ways you can say that.
Unless you say our name Lusko.
Hey, it's the Luskos.
In that case, it's Hey, it's the Luskos, which actually did happen.
Oh, repeatedly my entire life. Sorry to bring that curse upon you with my proposal for marriage, but...
Well, I'm thankful for my upbringing, and I'm thankful for my heritage, and I'm thankful for my maiden name that was Yap, but I feel like I got an upgrade.
To Lusko? Yeah, so my entire life it's been Levi Lusko. First day of school, name being called at the wherever your name gets called. Levi Lusko. We were recently on that roll call on that bus at NASA, and the lady kept saying, Luskos, where's the Luskos? And we were like, yep.
And we're here. But we actually would clap and say, yes, we're here. But then Lennox laughed out loud, just thought it was so funny that she said Lusko. So then he took it a step further, was like, hey, it's the Luskos, and like made a big party celebration out of it.
It's funny that you bring that up right now because I was in my journal this morning because I journal in the morning and you often journal at night, but I think you're back onto a morning kick.
Yeah.
And
whenever it happens.
So if you're listening, the kind of journaling we do, both of us, we do a number of different kinds of journaling.
Yeah.
I have a journal that's more for like big special moments. I'll get out and write that I want, like my whole life will be in there. The day I asked you to date me, each of the days our daughters were born, at spiritual significant moments, I get that journal out and I kind of write in there.
Born.
Yeah. When the day, after Lenny went to heaven. Then I have a journal that's kind of just my ongoing sermon notes, things God's teaching me, stuff that I'm learning in counseling or needing. Like my counselor will often ask me, hey, I want you to spend some time journaling about this, and I'll go to that journal. Mm-hmm. But then you and I both have these journals that our friend Pastor Craig Groeschel told us about that are called the 5-year journal. Mm-hmm. And this allows you to journal, but then a year later see what you wrote last year on that day. So today's May 6th. So you would see what you wrote May 6th, 2020, 2019, 18, 17, whatever, how many years back you go, which I'm at year 4. You're 3 now?
I'm at year 4. I think you're now in year 5.
Oh, so there you go. I'm 1 year ahead. No, I'm only at 4. So we must have started the same.
You started.
Maybe halfway through the year later.
So I'm weird where I really needed to start on January 1st.
Oh, so you waited to where I just started.
You just started like in August.
Like, who cares? I'm going to just get to it now.
I know.
You're learning everything about our personality, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. I do have a little bit of the OCD that it did bother me, but not enough to not start because I was more just impatient to get to a year.
But when I got my journal, I started it
right away.
I think I waited a little bit, but I don't know.
Anyhow,
I
it's beautiful to see what you were learning a year ago and 2 years ago and 3 years ago and go, oh, wow, I was so worried about that, but I'm not anymore. Or, oh, yeah, that's right. I hung out with that person. I need to send him a text. And it's really fun to be able to text a friend and say, hey, a year ago we were doing this. Mm-hmm. A year ago this was happening. And it just gives you context for life. And anyhow, this morning in my journal, apparently 4 years ago on this day, I was with our friend Pastor Louis Giglio at a conference. And when I got introduced to speak, they called me, this is Levi Lusko from the New Life Fresh Ministries, which made Louis laugh to no end. And he was making fun of me for all the rest of the day, Levi Lusko and New Life Fresh Ministries. But then the best part was the way it all, and I had written literally this one word down in my journal, and it was the word Gliglio, which made me laugh so hard because then when he got introduced, they introduced him as Louis Gliglio. So, of course, for the rest of the conference, that's how I referred to him.
Oh, that's so funny.
Louis Gliglio and Levi Lusko.
But then the story when someone came up to you. No, someone came up to you and said...
at the airport. I was at the airport, Salt Lake City airport, and I was ordering some food, and this person rushed up to me. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a pastor. And I go, yeah. And they go, Louis, right? And I go, nah, I'm Levi. And he goes, oh, that's right. Levi Giglio? And I go, that's still Louis. Still Louis. So
sorry to disappoint you, but I'm Levi Lusko.
He just walked away. He's like, I've never heard of New Life Fresh Ministry. Sorry. Yeah. So anyhow, that's the journaling, and that's not really relevant.
But
hey, it's the Luskos.
I was going to say something else.
I want you to say something else. Do it.
I know. I don't know. Remember what it was.
Well, it's going to be a long episode, honey. We got to think of some things to say. These microphones are recording our every thought, and these cameras recording our every movement.
Oh, so what I was saying, because you said when you were growing up, it was Levi Lusko. When I was growing up, it was Yapper, Yappy. Like, it was just more of not a nice.
When you have a one-syllable name with a P in it, it is going to lead to some variations.
Yapster.
Like if your last name was Pep, people would be calling you Pepper, Peppy, Peps a lot.
I like that. It's just Yap. I mean, that's what a dog says.
Tiny little dogs.
Yep, yep, yep.
I remember meeting you, and at that time, Paul McCartney had just released a song, and one of the lyrics was, when she gets home, it's a yap, yap.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would always think about that.
Oh, my God.
But I like it. It's a positive association. Anyhow. While we're on the list of things that are interesting, today being May 6th, which is a great occasion. Hopefully you enjoyed all your tacos yesterday for Cinco de Mayo. I wish we had a sound effect that we could release. What would it sound like? Like mariachi music? You know, when I was a kid, I don't remember Cinco de Mayo being such a big deal. I feel like as time's gone on, people have gotten more into it to where it's like a real thing.
Yeah, but I also think with social media and
true.
All of the holidays, every single day is a holiday.
Now there's May the 4th be with you, that there's an actual Star Wars holiday on May 4th, and then May 5th straight into Cinco de Mayo. It's really incredible. It's a corridor of holidays.
I'm interested to hear what you think about this, because it's always good to celebrate. And our friends, Jay and Catherine Wolf, they say, don't wait to celebrate. Always celebrate. It's always celebration. Your message from church this weekend, throw a party. And that's good. But
no, I said throw parties.
Throw a party.
Plural.
Parties.
Throw parties.
Okay, so maybe every day is a party, but
not every day. When you have to have a day to be planning the party.
But when there's literally things every day.
Too much.
Like there's donut day, there's take your pet to school day. There's all these different
day,
holidays.
Chocolate-filled croissant day, mow your yard backwards day.
It just feels like tiring. Like, no, it's too much holidays. Like, we don't need to have every day doesn't have to be a holiday.
That's right. Like, I mean, you think about May 6th is supposedly National Tourist Appreciation Day. Okay. That's a weird one. I mean, and it's a complicated one because, you know, we live in an area where there's a huge amount of tourists. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I watch people who are locals or natives. You know, we didn't grow up in Montana, so we're not natives. We lived here a minute. But
however, our children are.
Ooh.
Four of them are.
I was just trying to come up with a new vowel sound. And sometimes why. Sorry, it's just one of the sneaky vowels. It sneaks on through. I, O, U, Y. Exactly. Okay, so I watched, though, the local. See, I'm a native to Colorado. And in Colorado, you see people drive around with native stickers, meaning I was born here, which is a strange thing to, like, you have one thing to communicate to the world. And we're just like saying, I was here first.
Yeah.
I belong
I'm better
here.
Than you because I've been here longer and I was born here.
Yes, exactly. But I noticed that there's this general sense of like, don't tell everyone about how great Montana is and all the tourists and all the people coming in. And, you know, I understand that. But at the same time, you rely in areas on tourists because it is industry and it brings dollars in and no one minds spending the money that comes from those tourist dollars. So there is that tension. We love to hate the tourists, but then also we do, you know, rely on the income that it provides.
Well, and we are tourists. like in different places. So it's like, why would we?
Are you bringing it to Jesus is our heaven and our home and we're just passing through? I thought you were just about to burn us all, Jennie, with a big old Jesus juke.
Not quite yet. I was saying, thank you. So what I'm going to say now is not going to be as amazing as what you just said. No. However, but we're all tourists to some extent because we all go somewhere and we're tourists somewhere. So it's like, why would we be so mean to people coming to us when we go somewhere else and should be treated the way we want to be treated?
Jennie, it's all back to the golden rule.
Well, we were just talking about this with Clover.
All get along.
Clover was saying how like, all these tourists, all these people moving from other places. I can't believe it. I'm like, well, sweetheart,
she's a crotchety old Montanan.
She is. She is a Montanan. However,
no, but see, the real natives, though, would say, Clover's not a native because she's not like 7th generation. Like, you really know you're hardcore. It's like, you from here? Yeah, 5th generation. My great-grandpappy homesteaded this thing himself with his own 2 hands. Pulled the creek.
John Deere.
Pulled the creek from the John Cougar. John 3:16. It's like, wait, that guy's from Australia. What are you doing? What do you think that's... You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're saying, but then those same people go to Arizona and ooh and ah at the Grand Canyon?
But then, like you said, we are all tourists in this world. We're pilgrims.
I'm not a tourist.
With our hearts set on pilgrimage.
I'm on a mission. I'm just trying to up you. I was trying to up your Jesus
we're all,
I was trying to substantially one up.
Which you're very good at.
Oh, that's not exactly a compliment.
No, I'm saying like you're good at saying like, oh, I know this or I know this. Like, and I'm not saying that's a mean thing. Are you
saying I'm a know-it-all? Nobody likes that guy.
Okay, but you are a know-it-all, but you're a good know-it-all.
That is not accurate. You've given me a lot to think about.
Well, you always give me a lot to think about because I don't know all the things that you know.
I like to think I'm a 45 spinning on an old Victrola. That's that song. Okay, so Jennie, John Wayne, Superman, California. We have a very special podcast in front of us today.
Yes.
And all around us at this very moment.
And it will be as random as what we were talking about.
I feel like our podcast episodes have been really fun. I loved last week, the resilience episode. How hard does life have to hit before you quit? Talking about that. I loved the episode before that, the life and times of Eugene Peterson, as written by John Wynne Collier.
Wynne Collier.
Wynne. Ooh, Shane and Robbie Kimbrough. Man, we have abounded in good episodes.
Mm-hmm. That was a special one.
That was a fantastic episode. So if you're new to the Hey It's the Luskos, take a dip on into the archives, or as I like to call it, archive. I don't actually call it that.
No.
What is
also, tomorrow's your birthday.
That is true. It is birthday quarter.
Birthday week.
From the 4th, maybe with you, to the Cinco de Mayo, to the Levi is 39.
39 and looking fine.
I knew that was coming. I like it. I like it when you flirt with me on the air. Okay, so today's episode, Jennie, tell the people what we have in store. Actually, sing it for them, what we have in store.
We've got a lot of people asking questions, and we're going to answer to the best of our ability.
What got me was the breakdown at the end. I liked that. Because you actually are a good singer, despite all evidence to the contrary exhibited by that pitiful attempt at a song. We need a jingle. It's
weird, though, because, like, I've thought about this. I would say I have a good voice. I do have a good singing voice. There was a day where I was singing more than I do now, in the sense of I was singing in front of people, leading worship. When I was in high school, I was in choir. Like, there was a day where I was practicing it more. But I feel like now, I'll sing on my own. I'll sing with the kids. I'll sing at church. But I'm not practicing. I'm not using my voice. Yeah, and so I don't feel the confidence that I once did. But it's just interesting. It's like, for me, like when we were at NASA and we were in that amazing room with Shane and Robbie and their kids and with a bunch of people of their family and friends. And you were like, Jennie, you should lead us in worship. And really, I was so scared because I was like, I haven't done this in so long.
And I threw you to the wolves.
And I was very not confident. And it was fine. It ended up being fine because everyone's voices
were beautiful,
were singing.
And you have a beautiful voice, and even more important, a beautiful heart. And you stepped right into it.
But it's just interesting. Like if you're not using the muscles, like they can.
So true.
Atrophy.
It's so true.
Same
Would you say that you're a Mark Twain on the Mississippi, a Hemingway with a shot of whiskey?
No.
No, I just assumed you would, considering all that came before. All right, so today's episode, class, and let me say thank you to those of you who have been with us for a minute and listened to these episodes as we've been going through podcast puberty, because let's be real, that's what this is.
We just started.
People said, do you know what you're doing on the podcast? And we said, no, but we're having fun.
Yeah, we do have fun.
I've liked this as an outlet. That's what I feel like this podcast has been. Hopefully it's been connecting. And I really do appreciate those of you who, you let us know on a mention on Instagram story or a post that you're listening or liking or something, that this has meant something to you, that you take us on walks with you, that you enjoy this. And we do hope it's levity. We enjoy getting to talk, and there's awesome, powerful, really special Holy Spirit moments that happen along the way. But it is also a chance for us just to blow off steam a little bit. We're in meetings all the time. We're, doing things and preaching and, whatever. So then just to come here and be like, hey, let's just decompress for a hot second. Let's just talk. Let's just chill. And it's a really fun way for us to hear your voices too, as we get to, especially today, hear your questions with your voice.
Yeah, I love it.
And let me say that we do this every month, a Q&A episode. And so if you have a question you'd like to ask us, it could be about anything, please. It doesn't have to be crazy, psycho. What does the Ezekiel 37 prophecy have to do with Magog?
Well,
Gog?
Yes.
Magog?
First of all, I wouldn't know what to say about that. But.
Well, it can be about that, and we'll do our best with that too. But it could also just be whatever. One of the more common questions that is funny to me is people ask about like hair product. And so if you have a question about hair product, I would love to talk about that. It's the blow dryer, by the way. Least recognized form of hair product. If you want to achieve...
Tell them.
If you... Look, a barber once told me that great hair doesn't come in a bottle or a jar. It's not about having a ton of product in your hair. You see guys who have too much product and it's just like, yeah, wow, that is greasy. But the blow dryer, especially if you have real flat hair like I do, that will give you volume. And then the product's just to actually tame it down, not to lift it up. So you think about it differently.
Tell them the line.
Ready?
Yeah.
It's blow dry Frankenstein style classy. Blow dry Frankenstein. So you get your big pompadour over the blow dryer, style classy. And shout out to Chris Whipple at the Yellow Barber Shop in Nashville. Yellow Door, Yellow Cabin, Yellow House, Yellow something. Chris Whipple with a K. He told me that once. And I thought to myself, I like it. I like
That's really helpful.
Let's see if we can find the barbershop name. But yeah, blow dry Frankenstein style classy. The Yellow House Salon. Is that Nashville, Tennessee?
Ooh, video.
Is that Nashville? Yeah. There he is. Chris Whipple, the Yellow House Salon, Nashville, Tennessee. You go see Chris and you tell him I sent you. And then you walk through that door and you say, blow dry Frankenstein style classy. So style it down. You, instead of using product to get up, use this product to tame it down.
So good. Thanks. I'm sure that helped a lot of people just now.
Well, I hope so. This is what I'm here for. Honestly, it's brass tacks and life hacks.
Here's another thing about you is, whatever city we're in, you have like a list in your brain.
Or in my Evernote.
Where, well, yeah, but now I feel like it's more in your brain. Like you used to let me just pull out my Evernote. But now it's like.
Do I say it like that? Let me just pull out my Evernote.
No, but it's like people will tell me all the time.
Chris Whipple is also responsible
told me that we need it.
For me learning how to braid my daughter's hair. He posted this random video. He was like, hey, dads, you should know how to braid your daughter's hair, you idiot. And I was like, well, freaking A. That's exactly what I said. And that night, watching his video, I called my kids in and I started braiding their hair. And now I'm pretty good at braiding. I braided your hair.
You did braid my hair.
Braid everybody's hair. I started you come around me, I'm just going to start braiding your hair. Not during COVID, or if you have lice. But the rest of the time, let's braid. You got hair, I got hands. That's my motto. It's not my motto, but it should be.
Gosh.
You got hair, I got hands. It's my new company I'm starting.
Under your list of what you like, who you are.
Things that I've said.
Pastor.
Can preach.
Author,
Sometimes right. I can also braid a mean set of hairs.
Oh.
All right.
So, yeah.
What were you
Anyways,
saying?
No, but I was saying.
Oh, you were mocking me again. You called me a know-it-all. You said, I gotta never know for that.
No, but I was trying to tell the world that you, like, people will tell me, oh, Levi told me this restaurant in Nashville or this restaurant in Dallas, and it's amazing. I'm telling all my people about it. Like, you just, that's who you are. Like, you will, when you find something good, you tell people about it.
Yeah, that's what Pastor Stephen put in the forward to the Through the Eyes of a Lion book. Bro, you got to try it. It's amazing. Trust me.
You got to try this.
He likes to mock me that I always tell him that.
Or to me, it's check this out. You got to try this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
No, stop. Hold the phones. Give me that hair.
Look at this.
Let me braid it. Look at this. Okay, so what I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted.
By you.
By myself. Is if you have a question that you would like us to attempt an answer at a future episode, Jennie, tell them what they need to do.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You record it.
Put it in a bottle. Mail the bottle to us. Care of the Pacific Ocean.
With your voice in it. You talk into the bottle.
Talk into the bottle. But you have to put the cork in really quickly or your voice will sneak away. Very sneaky, those voice memos. Or if you don't have a bottle, you could always email Levi@freshlife.church and then send a voice memo from your phone. Don't just type your question out. Come on, we want to hear your voice. We want to hear what you got. Or you could send us a voice memo on Instagramatron, which is the new app that Facebook owns. They spent $1 billion on it. Whatever, it's fine. And you could send us your voice memo that way. We would love it if you would take your best stab at our jingle, which is, hey, it's the Luskos. Or you could just come up with your own version of it, and then we would listen to it, play it. None of the people today sent us any jingles. So, wah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the first of every month, we record a new Q&A episode. And so we'll see how these questions and answers go. Are you ready for our first question?
I'm ready.
You are ready. Mm-hmm. I am ready. We are ready. Question numero uno.
Hey, Jennie. Hey, Levi. My name is Isaac Plahitko. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And my question to you guys is, what is one thing that you find, whether individually or together, interesting about the way money is taught to people versus what you guys have learned through the Bible and through just like practice and just being in a relationship and having to manage that? Like, what is that one thing that not a lot of people talk about a lot? Thanks so much.
Wow.
Wait, first of all, was his voice put on?
His voice sounded really good.
No, a different speed. Like it sounded like it was like a 1.5 or something.
Are you accusing him of being on drugs? Is he on the speed? Was it Isaac?
No.
Wait, hey, Jennie. Hey, Levi. My name is Isaac.
Isaac, but from Indianapolis. I think that's just how he talks.
It just sounded...
I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And my question to you guys is...
No, he's excited. He's talking at a nice clip.
Oh, okay. It just sounded really fast.
Gosh, Isaac, I think you have a lovely voice. Listen.
What is one thing that you find?
Okay, I need to hear the question because I was distracted by the speed.
You were distracted by how quickly he was talking? He's just got a lot to do. He doesn't have time to sit around asking slow questions all day.
Whether individually or together, interesting about the way money is taught to people versus what you guys have learned through the Bible and through just like practice and just being in a relationship and having to manage that. Like, what is that one thing that not a lot of people talk about a lot? Thanks so much.
Do you want to take a stab at that?
I feel like I wasn't taught a lot. And so I feel like I've learned so much and grown so much in what it looks like to have learned how to handle finances, but also to teach our kids and teaching our church.
But you were taught. It's just we're taught a lot, just not always the things you want to learn.
Yes.
Right. Examples of
or what we were taught by what we weren't taught.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of instruction in a vacuum, right? So
how
even
we
if
see
something's not being
people-
communicated, how they live is teaching you that.
Yes. How we see people buy things or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, Isaac, I'm really sorry for all my wife's hateful comments about your voice. I think the speed that you chose to attack that question, that was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Second of all, let me say that in my opinion, the amount of things that most people are not taught about money is staggering. Starting with simple budgeting, and obviously for our frame of reference, we believe in seeking God first, honoring God first in time, in money, in every way. So for us, we believe every time we get paid, that's a test, and the test is, who do you trust? Do you trust in resource? Do you trust in your own self? Or no, we want to say we trust in Jesus. And so we take the first and the best before we do anything, and we put it into his work on the earth, the church, that the kingdom might come, that his will might be done. And then above and beyond that, we actually save as a family every single year, every time we get paid, for offerings above and beyond. And then beyond that, we want to be able to plan for generosity. And so those things come first, before mortgage, before cell phone bills, before anything else we do, so that in every other thing we have God's blessings on our lives, which he has promised to rain down in response to giving. And I think it really sets you up to be a better steward in all you do. Mm-hmm. So I think that being, maybe not communicated as clearly or as often as it could or should be. The average person who goes to church in America, I think 80% don't give anything. Most churches are supported by 20% of those in the church who actually do give. It's just hard to believe, because you get such peace, such confidence from it. Then I think secondly, the zero-sum budgeting, where you actually have, as Dave Ramsey says, a name for every dollar, and you're not, buying things you can't afford, but you're actually saving up to purchase things, as opposed to just financing them and sorting it out later, and all along the way paying so much credit and all of the rest. And all that's pretty basic, right? You would assume everyone has it as a frame of reference. Don't spend what you don't have. Don't have exorbitant interest rate for things, instead discipline yourself to pay for it. All that stuff's pretty basic, but sadly not being taught. And I would point you to the Rachel Cruz episode we did on finances, a whole episode to kick off season 2 on money.
Yeah.
But I would say beyond all those basics that tragically don't always get communicated, one of the biggest things that I think people need to know about money is that, well, here's the quote, the way I like it. If you can generate money while you sleep, you won't have to work the rest of your life. If your money can make money for you while you're sleeping, you won't have to work the rest of your life. Now, I actually do believe we are called by God to work all of our lives.
Yeah.
But the key is you don't have to. You won't have to. If you can, as a steward, teach your money to make money, then you won't have to work the rest of your life. You can choose to work even though you don't have to. Meaning you've taken your funds.
You don't have to work for money, but like retiring, for example.
Meaning you're not dependent on a paycheck coming in to live. You can then choose to work by serving God, doing other things, mentoring, whatever else God would call you to do, but you're not doing it because you need the money, because you've taught your money to work for you. So that would be as the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, a great book on finances puts it, the idea of generating passive cash flow. And passive cash flow is money that comes in that you don't lift a finger to do. So if you purchase a second home and then put that second home on Airbnb, any of the money coming in beyond the cost of the maid that cleans it out, or if you do that yourself or whatever, is now passive cash flow after the mortgage is covered. And now you accumulate enough of that, you're not working or having to work, but your money is making money for you.
Yeah.
That's an example of hopefully what you could do, so that you could then use your time and energy to pour into what God's put you on the earth to do. And money's not a big distraction and a big issue.
Right. Really, I mean, I think something that we've even learned more recently as we're teaching our kids too, is how we view money. Like, I think is so important, but, I feel like my perspective has been so changed as we've been reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad with our with our kids and teaching them what that looks like, I feel like has been so helpful. I would recommend.
Yeah, and not being afraid of
University.
it. The Bible says the gold of the land is good. Before there was sin, there was gold, and the Bible says that gold was good. And so remembering that there was a plan and an intention for gold before sin entered the world, and any of the things that would cause us, especially in the church, to view money as bad, and it's bad to be blessed, and it's bad to be rich, and all this. It's not the money that's the problem. It's what happens when money's in our hands, when there's sin in our hearts. Mm-hmm. And so that also tells us that there's a right way to view money, a right way to view resources, which is that the blessing of God on your life, when you're not turning the money into an idol, can then release that blessing to flow through you. So you can leverage those things, because the scripture says that God wants us to be the head, not the tail. Well, when you're the tail of life being wagged by creditors and living hand to mouth, it's very difficult to say yes to the things God puts in your heart. Yeah. But when you're living, within your means and you're blessing and saving and contributing, then you can come to a place where you're the head, where God calls you to do something. You're able to do that, to meet that need, to rise up and do those things. Yeah. So just constantly an evolving thing and something we're learning about. And but I would just say, if that's overwhelming to you, that it starts small. Generosity, abundance mindset, it all starts small. So you don't say, when I'm a millionaire one day, you say, all right, right now, right here, I'm making minimum wage. I make $11 an hour, whatever it is. I'm going to right here within this begin to put into place small little principles. We started tithing in our marriage when it cost us, when it was hard, when it was difficult. And I think that's how you incrementally grow. Yeah. Otherwise, no amount of money you throw at your problem is going to fix it. So many professional athletes, by the time they walk off the field, are in financial duress already, because every time they get paid, they were already thinking about how to spend that money that they haven't even gotten yet. Right. But if next time you get any kind of a correction, or even if it's just a COLA increase, or you get some sort of a raise, if before you even make any changes to your budget, you actually go in and set up your direct deposit and have that going into your savings account, or into a retirement account, or into an investment account, if it never hits your checking account, you won't feel that. But once you feel it, then it's the hard thing of, savings is hard again. But if next time there's any increase, cut that off at the pass. Don't make it easy for yourself to do the right thing with those automatic. That's why I love automatic giving for tithing. Yeah. But also for retirement, for investment, for those things that you have in your heart to do one day. If just set it up before it ever hits your account, so you don't ever have to have the sting of, now I got to move that money over to savings, move that money over to retirement, et cetera. Just do it right away. So you never feel there's never any ping of that, So I would say, the moment you get told you have an increase coming of some sort or another, take those right steps early. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, and I just think of the verse that says, the world of the generous gets bigger and bigger, but the world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. And I just feel like that is God's heart for us, is to grow in generosity. And really, we do that when we're wise with the money that that he gives us. And so.
Yep. There you go. All right. Thank you, Isaac from Indianapolis.
Hi, my name's Kylie, and I'm from Waseon, Ohio. My question is in regards to books. The popular thing right now is, for a baby shower, you bring a book for the baby. And I have chosen always to take a book for the parents in regards to a devotional as a couple, or as parents. Because I think the best book you can read for your baby is a book that makes you a better, stronger couple, and keeps you centered in Christ together as a couple. So my question for you would be, what devotionals or books have you read as a couple that you would highly recommend as a marriage grower, strengthener, and to keep you centered on Christ as a couple?
Jennie, what do you think about Kylie from Ohio's speed of communication?
It's very comfortable sounding.
Okay. Jennie likes a nice slow cadence. Where I like a little hitch in the giddy up.
Okay, well, then that is obviously something that tells the difference between us, because when you listen to an audiobook, you listen to it like
1.5 usually.
When I do.
My dad and I were listening to an audiobook that he was like, he's like, no, I can't go with you on this journey. We need to slow it down.
I just can't understand. I can't hang.
We compromised at 1.2 and we both enjoyed the experience. Okay, let's talk about Revelations. I didn't know. Apparently, I'm not getting invited to a lot of baby showers.
When was the last baby shower you were invited to?
Never, ever have I been invited to one. But she just said it like it was like everybody knows that at every baby shower is very popular to bring a book. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I've been a part of many baby showers.
They bring books for the baby?
Well, it depends. Like sometimes it'll be a part of the invitation, like in addition to your gift, or instead of a gift, bring a book for the baby or whatever. Like
I don't think I've been at any baby shower except for Lenya's, our daughter Lenya, because you wanted to do couples for that one.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of fun. The only baby shower I've ever been to is for Lynn.
But then I feel like there are more baby showers nowadays where it's the couple, because I feel like that. I mean, that makes sense.
Well, let me just be completely honest. I'm not exactly
completely honest.
Just saying, my one baby shower experience did it for me. It hit the spot so perfectly, so fully, and so completely. I just am going to recommend to all of our friends that they just keep that for the mom vibe going, and let us dads watch the kids, and we'll be happy as little larks.
Okay, that's great. That's good to know.
My point is,
I think women need it because it's like the elephant thing. Like we need the women in our lives.
Jennie, don't you say it's like the elephant thing without explaining what you mean, because people may or may not, but probably don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, my friend Holly enlightened me about elephants, how honest, like female elephants stick together for life. Like
beautiful.
A male elephant will come in and leave and be gone. Like they'll leave. But female elephants,
philanderers,
like they got each other's backs when baby elephant or when mom elephants have their babies. The lady herd come around to protect them in the vulnerable state so that the baby is okay and can be strong, and the mom's okay because mom needs the strengthening. Anyways, I think that's what it is for women, though. Like we need
that's
each
amazing.
Other. Yeah.
And
I think it's important.
Matriarchal tendencies of the pachyderm community aside, I just think honestly it's a excuse for girls to just be together and have a fun night, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't ruin that by bringing us along.
I think that was a special one, though.
Of course,
it was cool with friends and family, and
totally a wonderful occasion. All right, so
obviously you had a say in it. I don't think I made you do it.
I think you said we should do it co-ed, and I'm usually trying to be supportive. Usually. Okay, the question was about books. I do love this is a literature question. Before we get to her actual question about what books have kept us together as man and wife, because
that you read.
We are the elephants that stay together. I'm not running off.
Right.
I'm here for you. That was my trunk blowing.
I'm here for you too.
Oh, let's awkwardly hold hands. Okay. No, awkwardly. Very good. Do you feel how clammy my palms have become?
Yeah.
I'm so nervous.
It's like you preached a
lot. I hope this is
today.
going all right. Now listen. Kids' books. Favorite ones. Top 3. Go.
Yours are going to be more whippersnapper.
That's not a thing.
I just think of The Giving Tree. I think of...
Which ones do you like reading to Lennox?
Well, it depends on what he's obsessed with. Right now, it's I Am George Washington.
Is that how George Washington talked?
No.
Is that because of his weird teeth he had?
Okay, so Lennox is...
Why did you turn into a tin soldier?
Because I'm going to tell you, but I needed to give some backstory. So Lennox, from the time he was liked having stories read to him, maybe 2, 1.5, whatever, he fixates, and this reminds me of you, but he fixates on a certain subject.
Yeah.
And so he only wants that every night. So for a while it was Cowboy Small every single night. So then I'm reading him this book every single night. So it's trying, like, I would say with different voices, but he would say, "Oh no, mom, normal." And then I'd be like, "Oh yeah, okay. Cowboy Small will rise in the rain. No, mom, normal." And so it's like a funny thing.
That's funny.
So lately his big obsession is I Am George Washington. It's this book about George Washington that you bought him from
at
Mount Vernon. And it's this series of books where it's like a little cartoon person of the historical person, and it's so funny. But I've been reading it to him every single night for like 3 weeks.
Every single.
And so lately the joke has been, I start off like a robot. I say, I am George Washington, and then I turn the page. I am George Washington, and then I just keep turning the page for how long he'll let me, and I just say, I am George Washington,
and no words else.
Yes,
you're just like skip to the chase here.
And then he's like, mom, normal.
How many pages does he tolerate that?
It just depends on the night.
Oh, that's really funny.
But
and shrewd of you.
Yes.
I am George Washington.
But it's so, like, he won't let me speak in different, like, fun voices.
He wants
he wants it to be
normal. He
wants
wants a straight
Mommy,
read.
Normal.
He doesn't want 1.5 speed. He doesn't want none of that.
No.
He's not honored by that. He wants just you to tell him about George Washington.
And then, like, it's been Tim Tebow's kids' book, Party to Remember.
And
which
always laughs at the same parts.
Yeah.
And always says the same things.
But the fun thing...
That's a great book, A Night to Remember, with Bronco and friends.
Yeah.
Very
Another
good.
thing, though, that's fun is as you read the same books over and over again, like, he knows. So, like...
every beat.
Then there's days where it'll be, like, to keep it fun, it'll be like... saying something but putting a different word in it, and then I look at him
saying it wrong, see if he'll catch it.
And then he catches and he's like, he says the right
he'll say no.
And so anyways, that's fine. But what I was saying is, when you read the Bible every night to your kids, like, there's the getting that into their heart and
knowing the stories.
Anyways, so
it's cool that we can give each other at baby showers that we're going to this week books that are significant. That is beautiful. And to think about, that's a time machine. If you give someone in your life a kid's book, let me tell you something. Even if they're not like maybe a Christian or any other thing, you give it to them, that chances are it's going to get read because they're desperate for something else, because they're ready to go into tongues saying, I'm George Washington for the 70th time. But to think that's a wonderful way to smuggle into the future seeds of, of hope and life. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
My favorite these days is Brian Floca books. There's this guy named Brian Floca, and he's written 3 kids' books that we have. Maybe there's more. I didn't find more than that, but they're so great. He teaches incredible history, and they're beautifully illustrated. We've been loving this one called Light Ships. It's all about these ships that used to be used in places where they couldn't have lighthouses, and people would be stationed there on these ships, and they would send messages. And anyhow,
the cool thing is that these are history, but it's written in a way that's like
Lennox
remembers. And the other day he was like playing with his crackers like they were rocket ships, and he was actually quoting this part from the Moonshot.
Moonlight. No, it's Moonshot.
Okay, Moonshot.
That's
book
the Apollo 11 book by Brian Floca, which is the absolute best kids book I've ever purchased.
But like he'll quote that like when he's playing with his toys. Like, it's just, I love that those things are just in his heart.
Which, don't let me forget, I did promise I would put him to bed tonight and read Brian Floca to him. Okay. So that was the deal. He'd wanted it badly last night, but I was trashed and you took it. And
he settled.
We do go back and forth on that. And one thing that's been fun is we've been not just all or none, because it's like, okay, you got it tonight. No, you got it tonight. We've been doing it where we do it in stages. So whichever of us is not going to read to him and pray with him, we'll brush the teeth and get him in his, ready for it. So
Sometimes.
It's like, but it does help when we do that. I feel like it takes a little bit of the pressure off. It's fun and alternating that. But I did write in my 5-year journal the other day, and I came across this, that one of the blessings of the pandemic was I watched Lennox go to sleep and wake up multiple times, this week or every day this week. I think you had broken your ankle. So it was like every day this week, I put him to bed and watched him wake up. And I just thought with a ceasing of traveling, that was something I hadn't realized how precious that is. How many days in a row, a streak of being there when my son fell asleep and the daughters too, and woke up. And, it's just, that's a precious gift of 2020. You think there's so many bad things, but hey, what a wonderful thing that so many of us who travel a lot for work ended up getting to stay at home and be there and discover some of those forgotten treasures. Yeah. So.
But as far as books that we read,
devotionals. Well, we've done all the Tim Keller series. He's got the Wisdom of Jesus, the Worship of Jesus, and the Songs of Jesus, and then he's got the Meaning of Marriage devotional. And I think he just released a new one. Which
we don't really read things together. Like the Meaning of Marriage one, we both we had one book and we would kind of go back and forth and we would read.
No, but we would read them
separately,
but be able to talk about them together.
Not the other Tim Keller ones. You read that one year and I read that another year. I'm just saying that when we say we've read through them, we're not saying that we read through, like we read them together is what I'm saying.
Jennie's calling me a liar on
No.
television.
I'm just saying what it might feel like if you're hearing us. We're not saying we sit down and read a book together is what I'm saying. Because that might
But when we do a devotional, let's play patty cake. Can we do some of that? What's that cat's cradle together? We have the yarn between our fingers.
Oh, no.
We're saying that we read them alone. We sleep in separate beds. We have never known each other in the biblical sense.
Wow.
Joking. Okay. We both read them. Then we get to talk about it. And I always tell couples, don't you untie my hoodie. Oh, my Elevation Worship Maverick City product placement. Old Church Basement hoodie. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not listened to this new record by Elevation Worship in Maverick City, it is a banger.
So good.
What's your favorite song?
I would say Wait on the Lord right now. Or Wait for You, Lord. Or Wait for Lord.
Wait for Lord. I don't think I saw that one. You must have
Wait
a deluxe.
on him.
You must have
him.
a deluxe edition.
Wait for Lord.
With Jennifer Yap. Yap. Wait for you. Okay, so I love the Million Promises one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I declare.
I can't even count them all. That's a great record. Okay, so you would read them, I would read them. We'd have a chance to talk. Like as the day goes on, did you love this? I love this. This verse was great. Yeah, it was amazing. And then Daily Light, we did that. Focus Life, we did that.
Mm-hmm. But you and its Focus Life different. Like here's what happens to be. This is the truth. You're gifted a devotional, you buy a devotional, you do it yourself. And then I'm like, ooh, I want to do that too. But we don't do it together. I wait for you to finish. And then I wait
for you to finish.
Like right now, you're reading through an amazing devotional. And I'm really excited for the day that I get to.
But we have read lots of them together at the same time. we did Focus Life together. We did Daily Light together. We did Daily Light together. 1,000% we did.
Not the whole thing. Maybe like 3 out of the 100.
Daily Light?
Yes.
We did that on the same schedule for like 2 years, right after Lenny went to heaven. 2012, 2013, 2014.
So maybe that's true. But
you have forgotten. The pain of childbirth has caused you to forget the joy of living with me. I'm telling you.
But we have done some YouVersion.
Have we ever gone on a date? Have I not been good to you?
You've been very good to me.
Have I not given you? I never buy you flowers, but you don't seem to care about flowers.
You don't write notes anymore.
I don't write notes anymore. On this podcast, we're having it out. I don't write notes anymore. What do you mean?
You don't write me notes anymore.
Anymore ever?
Yes.
What about text messages? Emails? Snapchats? TikToks?
You don't even do Snapchat.
No. Why are you crying? I don't ever write notes to you. Well, I've got a note to write.
No, I have a note.
You've given me a lot to think about.
I have a note that you wrote for me in 2012.
Okay.
That I was my bookmark.
Is it framed?
It's a very nice one.
Is it framed? It's your bookmark. What if it was framed and it was your bookmark? What is a framed bookmark?
Oh, gosh.
I think you've forgotten about some notes. I'm going to have to think about this. I've written you little notes for sure.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
But I love the ones that you wrote me over the years.
I wrote you a postcard once and I mailed it to you. Remember that?
Yeah, that was really nice.
All right. I'm going to write you some notes. Got a lot of work to do.
So.
I like to think of myself as a verbal note writer.
You are a verbal note. And like you post on Instagram very nice things about me on my birthday.
That one time back in 2014. Okay, thank you very much. Now you guys all know we need serious help. And cleansing the palate.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Hannah Long, and I'm from Sulphur Springs, Texas. My question is, what is the greatest parenting advice you could give to an expecting mother?
Oh, congratulations, Hannah.
That's amazing, Hannah.
Wow.
So happy for you.
Okay.
Your life's about to change.
Whoa, that got dark. What? Jennie's like, flee the wrath to come.
No, it's wonderful.
No, here's what I would say.
Yeah.
I would say your baby has no idea how to do anything and is going to come out that way and stay that way for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry that you aren't going to know what to do either, because it won't notice. It has no idea that you don't know, and you get to learn together. I think there's such fear in parenting because we kind of fear that our kids are going to come out 14, and we're not a 14-year-old parent yet. By the time your kid gets to 14, you will be a 14-year veteran of the mom club and dad club. So you don't have to worry that you don't have a freaking clue, because that neither does a little baby. It's going to be just a tiny little idiot, and you are too. So you're in a happy little idiot club together.
Oh my
And so,
gosh.
no, it's just a simplistic way for me to think about it. Like, okay, by the time it gets to 7, I will be 2. So hopefully we're in this together. So you look at that little baby and you think just as helpless as it is at being a human, you're that helpless at being a parent, but God's going to give you the strength to grow together.
That's very insightful. I think what you last said is so important, because you're not going to know ahead of time. I mean, yeah, there's all the learning, all the books, all the podcasts, all the blogs you could read.
Heaven help us.
There's a lot of them, but there are some good ones. But you won't know exactly how to handle it in the stage prior to or after the stage to come. Like, I'm not making any sense. I think that you're not going to know how to handle everything perfectly ever. But when you're in the stage that you're in, God gives you a special grace for that phase and that age and that stage. And so,
ooh, I just got a cramp right there in my hamstring.
But I mean, it was the same with getting married. Like, it was a scary thing, because it was like, I've never been married before. Am I going to be a good wife? I'm so nervous. This is going to be so hard. But it's
my husband write me notes when I'm old and gray.
But you get into it and you feel like, okay, God's nearness in this age and this stage. Like, I think the whole point is that we're trusting God and we're dependent on Him for every age, every kid, every stage, because we can't do it on it. Yes, we're going to have, hopefully, ideally, a crew of people around us who are older and wiser and who've gone through life, and you can look to them and ask them questions. But really, it comes down to the wisdom of God, where you're just asking Him, God, I need help in this situation. I need help in this phase that I'm in with a 15-year-old. I need help in this phase with a boy who's 3, who we've never had. What do we do? Like, and so it's
who likes to stab pens through our upholstered cushions on our,
And just now we were cleaning off peanut butter and jelly, because instead of eating his peanut butter and jelly, he was squishing it in his hands like it was Play-Doh
with raging fury
and putting it in his hair. So it's like, but I think there is such wisdom in asking for help. And what do I do? Help me from people who know. But also,
what is peanut butter in the hair usually for? Getting gum out.
Peanut butter in the hair. Yeah.
He didn't have any gum in his hair. He was just doing it for fun.
No.
He needs to get that blow dryer out.
But
I've taught him better than that.
All that to say is it's a beautiful journey, and it's hard, but such is anything that's worth going through. And some of the sweetest things about being a parent is those moments where I just stop and take a second and listen, and in the moment,
take a holy smokes break.
Take a holy smokes break.
Tell that Hannah Long, was it Hannah Long, about how to have a holy smokes break. It's such a good, insightful thing. I love when you say this.
So I think it's so helpful to remember that we don't have all the energy, and we don't have all the answers, and we don't know everything. So there's going to be days and moments where we're going to be frustrated, and we're going to be having a hard time, or we're going to be, what do I even do? I don't know. This baby is crying, and I don't know what to do. My kids are fighting. This is so hard. Like, there's going to be those moments, because that's what it is to be a parent also. I feel like there have been times where I've had to just step outside or go into the bathroom and just lock the door and just take a moment and kind of take a time out for me before I have to give a timeout or I have to come in and be disciplinary or a teaching moment or whatever, because I need a moment to breathe in and say, Holy Spirit, fill me with your power, because I am going to lose it right now. I'm going to hurt somebody right now. I'm going to say something I don't mean right now. Like I need you. And I think that those moments where you're just like fully depending on the Lord, he comes in and he gives you what you need and he gives you wisdom. And just, I think that that's so key in our walks with the Lord as parents, is just always walking in step with the Spirit and asking for forgiveness when you don't. And, it's good. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And just like a smoker would need to step out in the alley right where they are and take a quick smoke break, this is a holy smokes break. It's beautiful.
Mm-mm.
I really like it. I think there's something to that. Holy Smokes by Jennifer Lusko.
Except we're breathing good air.
Forward by Levi Lusko. I'm only going to write it to you and no one else is going to read it. That's going to be a note. See what I did there?
Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Hannah. And congratulations on the baby. All right.
Hi, Levi and Jennie. My name is Abri, and I'm from Las Cruces, New Mexico, and recently moved to Arizona. I love you both and would like to know, do you think that marriage exists in heaven? And also, what's your best marriage advice for newly married couples? Thanks.
So good. Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Now in Arizona.
But now in Arizona. So she could say formerly, but currently.
Mm-hmm.
I am formerly of Las Cruces, currently of New Mexico, Arizona. The Bible says that there is marriage in heaven. So that's a great yes. I love to remember that, because the moment you read the verse where Jesus says, neither are there giving of marriage in heaven, nor being married in heaven, but we are like the angels in heaven that are neither married nor in marriage. You immediately think, oh, there's no marriage in heaven. But when you remember that the introduction to heaven in Revelation literally is the wedding supper of the Lamb.
Yeah.
So we don't understand it completely because we know now partially, but then we will know fully. But what the Bible does tell us very clearly is two things. Marriage in heaven exists, but it is not like the marriage we have now. But everything in heaven is unlike what we have now because it's better, not worse.
Yeah.
So richer, not poorer.
Right.
So if a seed goes in the ground and comes out a flower or a tree, the seed was responsible for what it led to, but is now fuller, the vibrant example of it. So heaven's a grape and earth is the raisin. Raisin's technically a grape, but goodness, if you had a choice between the two, I think you're going to pick the grape, right? So heaven is a raisin, only not dehydrated anymore. The richest, fullest, most vibrant expression of whatever is now. And yet in heaven, we're still who we are. God's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They had been dead for thousands of years when Jesus said that. So they still were Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And when Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were on the earth, they were married to, well, some of them were married a few times. Actually, all of them except for Isaac that we know of. So multiple wives, all this. They were married to these individual people. In heaven, they still had all those memories. They still were who they were. Mm-hmm. And so in heaven, I don't think Jacob still was running around with Bilhah and Zilpah and Leah and Rachel, but he is in a marriage with all those individuals, with Jesus. Mm-hmm. And so it's richer, it's fuller, it's different. We can't get our heads around it. So no, I don't think it's going to be exactly like Jennie and I in a house, in a structure with, in heaven like that. But you can't so dogmatically think about it because we're also able to fly in heaven, and we're in heaven able to walk through walls because we're resurrected bodies like Christ, but we're also working and doing things. So what life's going to be like, it's our eye hasn't seen, our ear hasn't heard. It hasn't even entered into us to fathom it. But that's scary because what we don't understand is scary. But we have to just trust and know that, no, it's not like the marriage that we have in our heads now, but we are in marriage because we're in relationship with Jesus together. So it's going to be richer and better, even though it doesn't, we think it's bad automatically because it's just not what we know.
Right. Well, it's like that picture of, I forget who it was preaching it, but about a baby in the womb. Like,
this was Bishop Jakes.
Okay. But you trying to tell baby, like, oh gosh, you're going to love it out here. It's amazing. Trying to explain, like,
they would want to stay in the womb.
Yeah, because it's comfortable and it's safe and it's easy and they're eating food out of their belly button and they don't have to do anything.
Oh, I wanted that right now. Just as you were saying, I was like, eat food out of the belly button. That sounds fantastic.
Oh my gosh. But there's that level, like you're saying, of not understanding. Like, we just can't comprehend what that's going to be like. And I think, sadly, so many of us, even just our perception of heaven, like how I grew up, my perception of heaven was, I'm not ready to go to heaven yet. I'm just going to be singing the same songs. And like, it was kind of more of a scary thing. Like, I don't want to go to heaven yet. I want to live my life.
Totally. Well, Bishop Jake says if we actually understood what heaven was really going to be like, he said it would be the opposite. He said we rejoice at births and we weep at deaths. But for a Christian, we should weep at births and rejoice at death. Because when they are born, they're coming into a broken world. Weep for them. But when they leave this world to go to heaven, he said we would rejoice if we knew what they were going into. So it's just in the dying hour is actually the birthing hour, and the birthing hour is actually the dying hour. It's all upside down in this kingdom.
Yeah.
So that's the first half of her question. The second half was marriage advice. Baby advice?
Marriage advice for newly
I like to
married
think that the strength of our marriage has always come from our correspondence. Just the way we've been such pen pals. All right, moving right along.
Hello, my name is Josh from Windsor, Colorado. And the question I had for you, Levi, is what is your favorite book that you've read outside of the Bible? And I wanted to ask a second part to that question, and that's what is something that you do to encourage yourself when you're going through just a hard time in your life. Love the podcast, love your show, and I'm currently reading Take Back Your Life, and it's a phenomenal book. Congrats, bro.
Oh, Josh, thank you so much. What a rough question. Favorite book outside the Bible?
Oh man, good luck.
That's just such a hard question. After I finish this, I'm going to let you know what my favorite child is. And then I'm going to tell you which is my favorite staff member on our staff. And then I'm going to, after that, tell you what the marriage situation in heaven's going to be like. These are impossible questions, of course. I'll tell you a couple that have really, really marked me. And what was the second half of this question? Habits?
How do you encourage yourself when you're going through a hard time?
I call Jennie. Say,
sometimes.
I do call you. Do I not call you? In 2012, I called you? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying sometimes you'll get encouragement from me. Sometimes you'll get...
You always encourage me. Are you kidding me?
Or I'm not on the same wavelength and I'm like telling you about Lennox.
You're my number 2 wonderful counselor. After the Holy Spirit, it's immediately to Jennie. Let's see. Some incredible books that have really marked me for life. On Being a Servant of God by Warren Wiersbe. Rut of Revival by A.W. Tozer, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Those ones marked me Tale of Three Kings by Gene Edwards. Those marked me profoundly when I first began following Christ. So that's the spiritual category. In the leadership category, definitely Blue Ocean Strategy, The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. Switch, How to Change When Change is Hard, also by Chip and Dan Heath. Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh, the late, great Tony Hsieh. And then that's more leadership. Anything by Godin, Gladwell. On the writing creation side, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. On Writing by Stephen King. On the history side, everything David McCullough has written. So many good books. But encouraging myself in the Lord. The journaling's huge. Literally speaking to myself, and then calling Jennie. Josh, you can do 2 of the 3. You can speak to yourself. You can journal. You can't call Jennie.
Counseling is big.
But counseling's, oh, well, absolutely. But I thought he was saying how to encourage myself.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Getting counseling is huge. All right.
Hey, Luskos. I am a pastor, and my wife and I are about to have 2 children under 2. I have not been able to find any resources on our specific situation, how to pastor a church when you have a young family. So I was curious to see how ministry was for you guys when your family began to grow. And what advice would you give a pastor and his wife with a growing family and continuing ministry?
I don't think we got a name. What would you say, Jennie?
I would say that it's hard. Like, I would say it's hard because you're navigating a lot of things. And I don't know how long you guys have been married, but I know we were 3 years married, had a baby, and we were planning a church. And that's hard. And I think because you're getting to know each other still, and you're seeing, you're going through just little life things together and big things together, and having babies together, learning what parenting is, and then leading people, and not just being a leader. You're the leader of a church and organization, and so it's hard. And so I think that one of the greatest things was learning early on what it looked like to love each other and prefer one another and prioritize one another above all the things. Because I mean, obviously our center is Jesus, but then the biggest thing from there is your marriage, because you're only going to be able to lead your people as much as you're leading within your marriage and loving each other and honoring each other and preferring each other. And so I think it's a key thing of learning what to prioritize and what to, and then also, it's not a balance. I feel like what we learned early on, that it's not like, I mean, imagine a balance with the scale on each side. Like, it's not going to be like marriage on one side and ministry on the other. Like, it's messier than that. There's a tension. It's all pulling against each other. But when Jesus is the center, then there's a grace that covers it all. And I think if you really know and believe that God's called you to ministry together as a couple, and whether that means you're both leading together or one's leading and the other's, I heard someone say once recently that in their marriage, one of them was front of house and the other was back of house. And I really like that visual of like, we're doing the same thing. We're under the same roof. God's called us both to something, but it just looks different for us in the roles that we're in. I feel like regardless of what God has called you to within the ministry, it's knowing that God's called you to it, and that it's not going to be perfect and well organized. And I mean, maybe it will be if you both are that way, but it's more messy. And what it caused me to do personally was lean into the Lord and really ask him for strength every day for what he's calling us to in the ministry that he called us to. But really, it's so beautiful and it's so fun, but it's also hard and it's messy. So it's all the things. It's the good and the bad. It's the easy and the hard. It's the take your breath away moments. Oh my gosh. And it's the take your breath away moments where you feel like you're punched in the guts. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
And big rocks first, same things we teach our churches, you've seen that sermon illustration. It's been done a billion times, but for a reason. If you have big rocks, small rocks, pebbles, sand, and you try and put the sand in first, you'll never have room for the big rocks. But if you put the big rocks in first, then smaller, then pebbles, then sand, eventually the sand will find its way through. You can put everything in.
Yeah, it's so good.
Take it it's the same thing you tell your church. It's no different. It's big rocks first. What are the big rocks? Your time with Jesus. It's family day. It's rest and rejuvenate. It's vacation. And you're going to go, oh, I can't take vacation. Just like the person in your church would say that to you and you tell them you need rest. It's serving. It's worship together. It's all those things. And recalibrate. Get help, receive help, all that. As soon as as soon as you're able, take your wife on a weekend away. Do those little things. I think write her tons of love notes. I've always found, I mean, some people might call me a modern day Shakespeare. I'm always writing these love notes. It just seems like my wife's heart just opens up. Anyhow, thanks a lot. God bless you and all your endeavors. Here's, you got time for one more, June? You got to run out of here. You got to just run. Yappy, yap.
No.
All right.
Hi, my name's Liz, and my question for the Luskos is, how do you deal with disappointment? Whether it's in ministry or in life, dealing with the disappointment of things not happening like you thought they would, or not happening in the timeline that you thought they would, or things happening that you didn't expect to ever happen. How do you deal with those disappointments?
Oh, we wouldn't know about that. Liz.
It's good, Liz. And I like your voice.
She has her cadence.
Very good.
Taking her sweet time.
It's very good. To take it in.
Well, what does James say, right? Rejoice. It's the least likely thing to come to your mind when disappointed. But he said, rejoice.
Yeah.
Good. Reframe it. That's cognitive reframing.
Override.
Override. I like that. If you feel like freaking out, do the opposite. It's jujitsu.
Yeah.
Use your opponent's enemies' weight against them. So situation crowds in, you should curse, freak out, panic, go get stoned. Instead, I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to thank God. And I'm going to believe he has a plan.
Yeah.
Bangarang, Rufio.
Well, it's like Paul writing to whoever he was writing to, like, don't be surprised when hard stuff happens, because essentially this is what it means to follow Jesus. Like, and I think that our lives are full of disappointments. And I think it is reframing. It is overriding. It's acknowledging that it's hard. It's not saying like, oh, I'm not dealing with this. It's fine. I'm just going to push this over here. It's holding the disappointment in your hands. And you're like, this is hard and this hurts. And I'm going to cry. I'm going to weep. This is really hard, but it's also seeing that God is holding you. So you might be holding this weight of disappointment and pain and difficulty, but remembering that God's got you and there's a purpose in it too.
Very good.
And so I think that if we can just kind of just with a different perspective, see it the way God sees it, that he actually wants to take us deeper and he wants us to, with full abandon, depend on him and run to him and trust him in the midst of uncertainty and waiting and struggle. It's actually a beautiful thing because God wants to take us deeper and higher in the midst of the hardships.
Dang. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But very good. Last one.
Hi, Jennie and Levi. My name is Mackenzie Taylor. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and my question is, what is your best piece of advice for engaged couples who are getting married soon? I am engaged to my fiance, Evan, and we are getting married on December 19th of the upcoming year. So thank you so much.
Well, congratulations, Mackenzie and Evan.
From Philadelphia. I wonder what their favorite Philly cheesesteak is.
Ooh, I wonder too.
Man, how do you feel about Philly cheesesteaks?
I really like them.
Me too. Pat's and Geno's are like the big competition, whether you're of a Pat's or of the Geno's. But then there's a place down by the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium that's kind of close to the football stadium. It's like tucked in there that apparently to a lot of the locals is actually the best Philadelphia cheesesteak. And I've had all three. And, really, honestly, my palate can't really discern too much of a difference between those three. Whatever that one, what's the one down by the the Eagle Stadium? Philly cheesesteak, supposedly fan favorite. The thing
I love that you know all of this.
Gets me about a Philly cheesesteak is the cheese whiz. Because you order it with or without, and if you order it WIT, W-I-T,
Just gave me the heebie-jeebies.
It's going to have literal cheese whiz and onions. It's phenomenal. Marriage advice. No. It's actually not the question. It's engaged advice.
Because from here till then is what, 8 months?
Till death do us part. That's a joke. A lot of people get married and divorce in sight finances. So see Isaac's question about financial stuff. That's my advice. Okay. Go through Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University or something like that now. If so many, okay, so what two of the biggest things cited in divorce cases is I think pornography and obviously infidelity connected to that, and debt, finances. Those things cause so many conflicts to boil out. So deal with both those things now. Flesh out those issues now. Deal with your addictions, those strongholds, root those out, and get on the same page financially. Cut a lot of those fights off at the past. That would be the advice, other than just enjoy it, because you'll never be engaged again. And this is something to really just love and walk in. And everyone spends so much of their time without kids thinking about kids, with kids, thinking about when my kids walk. You miss the season you're in because you're looking forward to the next one. So if you're not careful, your whole life will be gone. So I would say, man, what a cool thing it is to be engaged. Build that friendship, and then you'll be married for a long time. I
love that. I would say, just to kind of fill in the areas what you just said, enjoy the process. That was one of our things that we would tell each other in the midst of planning and craziness.
What's the other thing we always used to say to ourselves during our engagement?
Don't make out.
No, it was not no, but not now.
Oh yeah.
It was like we would just want to have sex when we were engaged, and we would be like, not no. So the feelings we have are good and right.
Just not now.
Just not now.
Yeah.
Don't make out.
So
that was what you would tell me.
Don't make out.
Don't make out with me.
So I would say enjoy the process. Equip, like what you're saying. Equip yourselves for your future. And I think that those are both very good things financially and just purity wise. Like, yeah, keep your hearts pure and go back.
Google top Philly cheesesteak, Philadelphia. I'm still on this a little bit. We're Googling even now. Yeah, of course, Pat's and Geno's comes up. Did you Google in Philly? Okay. And do you see? Okay, now let's look at the stadium, that map. That's kind of good. Just trying to find that stadium. It's right by the Eagles where they play. Yeah, it's not Jimmy John's. That came up. Love that New York pizza at Sbarro's. Michael Scott. Maybe it's Tony Luke's. It might be. Is there one right by the stadium? We're going to settle this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, though.
I'm trying to think what's your celebrity name? Mackenzie and Evan. McEvan.
We can do better.
McEvansky.
McEvansky? You just turned him super Russian. Yeah, it's hard. Cheesesteaks. Ace of Steaks. I think it's Tony Luke's. Is that right by the stadium? Maybe it's Tony Luke's. We'll get some comments, I'm sure, on Instagram and try. Maybe we'll put a sticker or something on the story and ask where all our Philly people speak up. What is the best cheesesteak?
It's good.
What would you be on? Would you be on Pat? Just sight unseen, because you never had either.
No.
Right?
I would not want cheese whiz, is all I'm saying.
No, but see, you're already hating it. All the Philly people are like, how dare you throw shade on our cheese whiz? It's a massive can, and they pop the top off, and they just get that. It's like that cheese whiz you would get at the worst nacho place in your life. But on it, I'm going to say it. I've had it on a Philly cheesesteak. It's not exactly diet food.
Not exactly.
By any stretch of the imagination. And yet, would you be Tony Luke's? Would you be Pat's? Or would you be Geno's?
I feel like Tony Luke's just sounds great, better. It's just, I like the name.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. What was the other food they really have in Philly? What's the other food? I mean, obviously they're known for their cream cheese. I'm trying to remember any other food I ate in Philadelphia. I know when I went there the first time, I was shocked by how much I loved that city. Because I never really heard like, oh yeah, you got to go to Philly. You know, you obviously see it in Rocky Balboa and the steps. But I thought that city was so fun. I loved too going through Independence Hall and seeing the Liberty Bell there and thinking you're standing in this room with the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Yeah, wow.
And it was our nation's capital before DC. It was both, I think, Philadelphia and New York were different cities at one point, our capital.
Wow.
I think that's right. All right.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And
here's the list. Hoagies, soft pretzels, and water ice. These are on the list. Ooh, look at that. That Philly cheesesteak looks good.
Are we done?
You tell me.
Are you done finding the food in Philadelphia?
I got highly distracted. But yeah, we do thank you if you're still with us at 79 minutes and 43 seconds, you deserve some kind of a medal.
Yeah, honestly.
No one's listening to this right now, Jennie. They tuned out 37 minutes ago. This is just you and me now.
Well, let's give a treat for the people who are still listening.
What's the treat?
The treat?
Something we've never told anybody before.
Oh.
I am not left-handed. No, that's not it. What? You're pregnant?
No.
What's that treat?
Oh, I was just going to tell the person listening just how loved you are. And I just wanted to pray for you.
I love it. Let's do it.
Lord, I just thank you so much for this person listening. And we just pray for your grace to cover them. And we pray that whatever they're facing right now, that they would see it from a new perspective and see it from your perspective and see that you love them and that you're in control and that you're holding them regardless of the disappointment and the pain and the struggle that they might be holding. And I pray that they would release it to you, that they would see your goodness in the land of the living, that they would see your faithfulness. I pray for your favor on them in a special way this week. And we just lift them up to you for your glory, for your name, for your fame. In Jesus' name, amen.
As good as that prayer was, Jennie, I don't think it's going to cut it. When you tell the people there's a treat, here's the treat. The first person to write an email to levi@freshlife.church, and in the caption, in the subject line, you write the following phrase: I want a cheesesteak right now. Give it to me. Okay? The first person, no, not the second, not the 9th, not the 97th. Now, we all know we're not getting 97 emails because no one's listening. But if by some chance you listen to this word in the voice of the Holy Spirit carries my words like a message in a bottle through the ocean of storms, past the swirly, twirly gumdrops and the Lincoln Tunnel, and it gets to you, and you hear me like a siren speaking through the mists of time, and you write me an email, Levi@freshlife.church, and the subject says, and I quote, I want a cheesesteak, give it to me.
Philly cheesesteak.
That wasn't a part of it, just cheesesteak.
Oh, I thought it was Philly.
Fine, you can put Philly or not Philly. I won't judge you for that. The first person to do that, and of course we'll have a timestamp, is going to get a Gold Belly delivery of Pat's or Gino's. I can't remember which one. Which one is on Gold Belly? There's a way you can get food on dry ice from Gold Belly. We'll figure it out.
We don't even know exactly
we're finding it right now. I just need to make it all official. Gold Belly cheesesteak. No, not cake. That's cake. It's steak. I'm not mailing out cheesecakes.
You know what's on Mackenzie's mind?
Our Mackenzie is on a cheesecake. Pat's is on Gold Belly. All right. So we will send you on dry ice Pat's cheesesteaks in the mail. Gold Belly is amazing. You can get all your favorite decadent foods from all these cities around the country. We are not sponsored by Gold Belly, though we wouldn't be objecting to it if such an occasion struck. And we will send you some cheesesteaks in the mail. Goodness, those lobster rolls look amazing. Was that from Cousins?
Wow.
We did Gold Belly. We did Giordano's pizza from Chicago once, and that was just ridiculous. All right, so we're going to find out who's with us.
All right.
That's the real prayer. I mean, Jennie's prayer was
Love
obviously
you.
better for your soul. Mine's going to taste better going down.
On the hips.
A lifetime on the hips for a moment on the lips, Jennifer. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. And be sure to swing by levilusko.com to see what's going on in our world, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. In the meantime, we would love to connect with you on social media. Jennie and Levi Lusko, out.